Welcome to the Orlando Dads Group podcast. We are here today. My name is Nick, and I'm joined here with.
Floor. Um, and of course, we're short one person today because they have family in town, and we know that family comes first, and things like this happen all the time. That's why there's more than one of us because we just have each other's back. So Nate is hanging out with family, doing his thing, and we got his back today.
Yeah, it's a team effort, and thank God it's a team effort because I don't think one of us could run this by themselves. So we, appreciate it, and we are holding it down for Nate because we know, he's going to do the same thing for us. So we are here today for another episode. It's been a couple months. Again, just like how Nate is, visiting family, life's kind of got in the way for us, but we are here with another episode. This episode in particular is, it's been something that has kind of mutated, which has been very interesting. We started doing a virtual meetup. I mean, Floor, you might know. You were probably doing this before I joined the group, but the virtual meetup probably started during COVID, correct?
We did a little bit during COVID, because we couldn't meet up in person. So we did the virtual meetups just as a way for us to still connect. And then once things started to open back up again, we started to physically meet up. We kind of stopped them because we felt there wasn't a need. But later on, we discovered that there were some dads who always wanted to make it to a physical in-person event, but because of their life's circumstances, whether it's, with their kids or family situation, whatever the case that kept them from actually making it out physically, we felt that it was necessary to try the virtual meetups once again to see if it would bring some of those dads out. And it really did. I mean, it brought dads who we really never saw before, who've been in the group for a while. And it also gave other dads who normally attended physical meetups just another way to still connect. And it just kind of grew into this thing where we now do monthly.
Well, and it's great too because one of the things that I have noticed doing these virtual meetups is we've started noticing that when when we go into these meetups, we don't really have much of a script and just kind of talk about anything that kind of comes up. But we've noticed that a lot of the members who do attend these meetups are a little more vulnerable about talking about the things that they might not necessarily talk about in an in-person meetup. And this is where this episode kind of came about. Is during our virtual meetups, we've been asking the people that are joining us to submit a question, or if they have a question, anonymously, and using that question, we're asking it in the virtual meetup, and then kind of uh, asking the roundtable of brain trust that that is our group, and are allowing our members to kind of talk about these these questions, these issues, whatever these dads are bringing up, and bringing the advice that all of us have together to be able to help whichever dad is asking the question, but then also helping the dad that maybe didn't ask the question but can benefit from the question as well.
Yeah, it's been really nice because some of the questions are, dads who are joining for the first time. And we have different dads from all walks of life. And then there's dads who feel more comfortable in asking certain questions, on the screen if they do have one, or just sharing their story. And there's others who may not feel necessarily comfortable at the moment. And we provide that outlet with asking the question anonymously. And one of us as organizers only are the only ones who have access to the responses, so we can ask it on their behalf to still get that information out there. And it's kind of nice to see all of us really come together, whether we're experienced with it or not, but share some sort of advice or feedback, and provide some sort of guidance with some of these questions. And the questions could be something very, um, something of great concern, for this specific dad, or it could be a question very, very simple, but just try to get some advice from other dads, whether it's, I'm trying to figure out a routine because I want to play with my kids and spend time with my family, but I don't spend time enough for myself. Whether it's maybe just things that make me happy, or maybe doing more fitness activity, and I just don't have time. Like, what are you guys doing? It could be stuff with the kids, maybe it's a disciplining question, like how do I discipline my child? How can I be effective with certain things? Or it can even be anything related to your family, just to help this dad get through day by day normal routines where maybe they're struggling in certain areas.
Definitely. Yeah. And this, we've chosen three topics that came up in some of the meetings that we've had for the kind of spotlight of this episode, to kind of share the knowledge of, asking the question and then kind of uh, having the responses that we had from all the dads that attended this. So here are some clips from the separate webinars we had in regards to the anonymous questions that were brought up during our virtual meetup.
And I think both aspects are really important, because distant parenting, obviously you're not physically present, when it's the physical aspect, which I know plays an important role. Being present is one thing, but I know there's also a way of, depending on the challenges that you have in trying to be there presently for your child, there is a way to be there present emotionally. um from the physical aspect, I know in my specific scenario, I co-parent, so I have my daughter every other week. Um, but I try to establish a connection with her on a daily basis, like clockwork. I mean, when she's not with me every day at 6 p.m. or around 6 p.m., I give her a call, hey, how's school, and just try to be there for her from afar. And that I know has over time has created a, I guess, sort of a routine where if I happen to miss a beat and it's like 6:30, my daughter's calling me. She's like, "Hey daddy, is there, you didn't call me." So which kind of makes me feel good. She just looks for that. And it's, makes me feel good. But there's other times that she just calls me just in the middle of the day, just randomly. She has a phone now. She is 12. And in this situation, her having a phone now has helped me stay connected with her more, because before my only communication was through her mom. I would have to call her mom's phone and speak to my daughter. And sometimes it was a little bit difficult to do that. There were some challenges in between that, but I think her having a phone has helped me stay closer to her, her stay closer to me. We're able to communicate and chat almost what I feel like is all day. I mean, if she's not calling me, she's texting me or we're talking about whatever it is. So I think you can still be present without physically being present, at least is something that I really strive for. Um, and I know, Nate, I know you kind of have a similar situation too. So how, like, I mean, how do you maintain like your presence like with your daughter? I know who's in, what was it, Alabama?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
an hour outside of Birmingham.
All right.
Yeah.
And like how do you make sure you like maintain that presence like with your daughter?
The phone. Her having a phone has made it really, really easy to keep in touch.
Mhm.
Although her mom and her stepdad are really cool now, so I have I mean, I have pretty much everybody's phone number. I have mom, stepdad, I have grandma's number. So, I have a way to contact her somehow. Because there's even been points where I thought her phone was off, and it's
Mhm.
like, hey, no problem. Let me see what's up. So I just keep in touch. I try to text her like once a day, maybe
Mhm.
every other day. And then I try to call her every now and again just to see what she's up to. She's a little bit older. She's 15, almost 16. So she stays pretty busy between school and high school and friends. So usually a text is the easiest way to catch her because I know she'll answer me
Mhm.
right back. But yeah, just trying to keep in touch, man. And then trying to do stuff when she gets here. Trying to do whatever she feels like doing. Hang out with the brothers, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So and I know she comes to you what like every school break, summer and all that stuff, right?
And once a month too. Every 3 or 4 day weekend a month. Every break, even spring break.
Hmm.
We alternate holidays. So
Yeah.
and then all summer. So it's not bad.
Okay.
It's expensive, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because you pay for her flight going and coming every time, right?
Yep. Every
Yeah.
time.
Oh
There and
man.
back.
Racking up those sky miles.
Nope, can't rack up Sky Miles because she's underage.
Oh, are you
Oh,
serious?
Yeah. Yeah. No Sky Miles. It
That's
sucks.
crazy.
It
Oh
is. It's
my
because she said,
gosh.
they have their loopholes.
Yeah,
yeah.
When she
yeah.
was 15, you had to pay extra too. You had to pay for non-accompanied minor. So it's extra 150 per flight too. It's
Oh,
nuts.
wow.
If I
That's a
could warn people ahead of time,
hmm
it's like little things that I had no idea and I learned along the way. Yeah.
wow.
Make sure all that
Do,
is written in your support information.
do
Oh
they
yeah.
charge you how much extra for unaccompanied minor?
$150 per flight. So if she's coming here, it's 150. If she's flying home, it's 150. Only one that doesn't do it is Southwest. Southwest doesn't charge, but their prices are higher, so it's
Wow.
kind of factored in. She sits with family when they do family boarding. She can sit early. But
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's expensive, but
Hmm.
that's some serious dedication too. So that's, I mean,
Yeah.
I know she appreciates that for sure.
Yeah, she's coming, so
Yeah,
I don't worry about it. I
that's
got to do
awesome.
what
Hmm.
I got to do. I'll
Yeah.
Yep.
figure it out later.
When it comes to our kids, I think what is if whoever wants to share, like, what is some of the things you do to like active listen to your kids, like actively just be there? I mean, because kids, you pick them up from school or they saw something on TV and they're gonna tell you the longest version of any story, and it has so many details that you probably don't even need 80% of them. But like, what are some of the ways that you guys maybe actively listen to your kids?
Um, I have to say that my daughter, when she has stories that she wants to tell, she starts telling the story, but then she repeats herself a bunch of times, and then she stops, and it's like she's trying to think of, okay, what was I talking about? And then continues into something else. And it's just, so the biggest thing for me is, okay, I'm still listening. Like in my mind, I'm like, I'm still listening. Just sit here, acknowledge what she's talking about instead
Mhm.
of trying to start getting, don't get annoyed or whatever. Like, okay, come on, let's go. Let's get on with the story. But so a lot of it's just you have to have the patience and just keep that face, like you're interested in everything,
Hmm.
and not show that you're annoyed because they can pick up on the slightest nuance, so or or
Yeah,
hear anything, that you're saying or doing or whatever. So
that is 100% true. I mean, these kids, I mean, sometimes we identify how much they can actually listen by their age. They're like, oh, they're two, they're young, or anything like that. But these kids, I don't care how little they are, they pick up on so much. They read us very well. They just, I don't know, these kids just know. Like my daughter has told me stuff before, like from when I was going through my divorce, of things that she's seen. And I was like, wow, here I'm thinking you were too young to understand what was going on, but you knew what was going on. Like you saw it. So, I mean, that kind of hurt me in different ways because, I didn't want her to like learn any of that. But,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. All I can do is just take the next uh best step forward. So, but yeah, I do a lot with my daughter's telling me stories. I do a lot of like, wow, really? Oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
really? What? And I'll maybe repeat something she said, like,
Or
wait,
say
what?
some questions.
Yeah,
Put
exactly.
some questions in there.
So yeah, I know what you're what you're talking
Yeah.
about. All right, cool. Anyone else?
I know, like when I'm talking to, so I have two. I have a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. So, like for instance, with Abe, our 9-year-old, I always try to make it a point, and I tell him, like when he's telling me a story, to make eye contact and look me, look at each other, and don't have my phone around me, and just engage and ask him questions like exactly what you were saying right now. Is in Flores, is ask questions. Don't just say, uh-huh, yeah, and kind of just engage with them, and I can tell when I don't and when I do. Because sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
if you're cooking or doing something or whatnot, or you're on the phone or you're multitasking, um, and I'll apologize if I see that I'm doing that. I'll be like, hey, Babo, like, I want to give you my 100% attention. So let me finish this. And then we'll sit down and talk about what you want to talk about or what you have questions about. Or if you want to show me something that you've seen. And I noticed that also, they, know, take on that respect, and it
Mm-hmm.
goes both ways. Because then I see him doing that, to his friends or even like my friends when we go out, and my adult friends, stuff like that. And sometimes they tell us like, "Wow, your son really sits there and pays attention."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. I think the transparency with them, even though that they're young, I think they appreciate because, like you said, Ozzy, you're in the middle of doing something. You're not 100% fully engaged. They're telling you something, and you probably just ask them a question of something they already told you. Like, oh yeah, this kid was wearing a blue shirt, and then you say, oh yeah, what shirt was he wearing? And it's like, obviously at that moment, like you said, you recognize like, okay, wait, I'm obviously not even 100% there. And
Yeah.
I think our kids appreciate that transparency of like, okay, I know my dad is busy right now. He's gonna give me his time 100%, and I could tell him the story with no interruption. So, like you said, I mean, they gain that respect. So I think that's awesome the way you did that.
I noticed that. So I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. So my son, I can tell that if I'm not listening 100% to him and I look at him, I can tell that he's kind of upset, that I'm not engaged when he's trying to talk to me. And then I recognize that, and I apologize to him because that way he knows that I'm sincere, that I'm not just, okay, let me just put this down so I can listen to you. I don't want to do that because you're not you don't want to show that you're annoyed or anything, because you're not. You're
Mhm.
just trying to refocus with something else, away from whatever you were doing. And if I don't do that right away, or I'm just like, all right, hold on, and just say like the dismissive hold on, I want to catch myself and not do that, because I think that kind of leads into, them feeling that they're not important or something.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. So I guess moving on, but I mean, ironically, this some sort of way still kind of falls in what we're talking about when it comes to like parent distancing. Um, and Sagar, we were talking about like we've talked about like the physical aspect of parent distancing, just kind of sharing different perspectives and background based off our experience. And now we were going into like the emotional aspect of parent distancing. Like we talked about, you know, how we have our kids in the same house. And sometimes we can be distant from them emotionally, where we're not actually present. Some examples that we shared is sometimes we're on our phones, or we're playing a video game. Um, or it could be the other way around. The kids are really distracted with technology and we're trying to like be involved and it's really hard. So we just talked about different ways of like trying to active listen with our children. And that can vary with ages, I mean, you have a 1 year old, so how you um like be with them, be present with them could be different how it is with a 3 year old and then a 5 year old and then 12. And it's so different. Now I wanted to bring up too, like I guess some like shared activities. I mean, because when we talked about like the technology and how that can pull them away from like being involved in the kids being present in the moment or the other way around. I wanted to ask everyone, is there any like shared activities that you do, like physical activities that pulls them away from all these devices or whatever, that you really like to do with your kids that you find them to be very engaged?
Uh, Swimming, I'd say when it's warmer.
Yeah.
But we like to jump in the pool and just my son more than my daughter likes silent Marco Polo. So,
Okay.
so we do that and then have to watch and make sure people aren't peeking and stuff. But that's been a big thing, to actually be away from screens and stuff. So
Hmm. All right. What else everybody else got?
I got my son into playing golf with me. He
Oh,
actually it started with video games because we played video games together,
okay.
and on the Nintendo Switch he got really into Mario Golf.
Nice.
And I took him around here, at least in Central Florida, there is a par three course, 9-hole par three course, and the kids get to play for free that are under 12. So he comes with me. He plays most of it. Every now and again, in the last hole, he'll be like, "You know what? I'm done. I'm just gonna walk away." But he enjoys it, and he's out there walking the course. There's no golf cart, so he's walking the course with me. I'm obviously carrying the clubs. He's not, I'm not making. He has his own little set of clubs, but
Hmm.
they're not nearly as heavy as mine. But he really enjoys playing golf with me and walking around, and they also do night golf, so he's gotten a kick out of that where we buy the glow in the dark balls,
okay.
and when you hit the ball it lights up and so you can see where it's going, see where it is. So that's one of the ways that I've done with at least my son.
And your son is how old again? 5?
6.
6. Okay.
Yeah, he'll be 7 in April.
All right. And then other Nick, how old was yours?
My daughter is 8 and my son is
8.
10.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. Anybody else do some fun activities?
I still do video games because it's so many of them. We'll play Smash Bros together as a group. Sometimes my wife
Okay.
too, and we'll play Smash Bros. It's actually pretty.
Oh, that's cool.
Or we'll do Mario Kart and split
Oh
screen.
yeah.
That's fun too. Yeah,
That's
Yeah, we do
awesome.
yeah.
And
that too.
It's just cause it's like you're gonna play video games anyway, so why not all of us play together? We'll play.
Yeah. I
Usually,
mean, a lot of those Mario games, they have up to, 4 or 5 people can play all at the same time,
Mhm.
like Mario Wonder and I don't know, some of those other ones.
nice.
There's so many of them.
The cool thing too is because they're all different ages. They'll all hop in, even though they're all,
Yeah.
like my oldest is 16, my youngest is 9, so they're all, but everybody will play. It's what makes it
Mhm.
cool. Like it's something that everybody can do together. Yesterday we tried to play Clue together. That was fun. Um, but like a couple, like the 9-year-old, he gets like, I don't know. I don't think he was bored, but like, trying to catch the clues and stuff is not really. He's not really all there yet, so to
Uh-huh.
speak. He's smart, but obviously the rest of us are a little more clever. So we used
Yeah.
to have fun. Everybody have fun.
Yeah, we do a lot of like board games or card games too. I mean, Uno is a big one here, and
Oh,
we'll play
Uno.
that. Um, my daughter definitely likes to play video games, but she also likes to. I mean, she'll go from like playing cards to playing video games, and she'll want to do something outside, like I don't know, something crazy. Like we've taken a liking to like doing obstacle course races. We just did one maybe about a month or two back. So now she's like, we got to do the next one. We got to train for it. We got to go exercise. We got to go run. And so that's something we're doing this weekend is we're gonna be sweating our butts off to get ready for the next race. Um, and she's all for it. And I mean, the physical activity like that, I mean, exercise is always good. And honestly, it kind of gets me off the couch too. So she's kind of motivating me to get moving while she's doing the same. So that's really cool. I mean, it's physically demanding, but you know what? I mean, I don't have her 24/7, so I'll take it, you know. I'll do what I can do.
We'll have to sign you
Uh,
up for the Tough Mudder, or you guys
yeah,
can go on American Ninja Warrior,
there
or what's
you
the other
go.
one? Wipeout.
Oh,
There's a white,
see,
yeah. What is it on TBS or TNT?
Well,
see, I would
who's
go ahead, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. So, no, I was just say who's the host now? Is it like
I
John
think it's
Cena or
John
something?
Cena and some
Yeah.
lady. I can't remember. My son decided to turn it on the other day because he's at that age where physical comedy is hilarious, and
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
they get the crap beat out of him on there. So
yeah.
I just
See,
don't
I,
remember
I would
the other lady.
I would probably do Wipeout in American Ninja Warrior. That would be me. I would just totally face plant and just be done. They would tell
I
me,
mean,
yeah, don't come back.
the Ninja Warrior stuff, like that's a lot of just constant hanging and just
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, I'm done. Just fall off.
A
A
lot of
lot of upper
physical
body
strength.
strength. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
And that was the webinars that we had chosen for the anonymous questions from our virtual meetups in regards to questions that were, again, proposed anonymously from our members. And the attendees at the virtual meetup, answered those questions. One of the things I wanted to talk about today as well, Floor, is we us living in Central Florida, especially around Orlando, we are one of, if not the vacation capital, and it's very topical today because Nate is not here for this exact reason. I was wondering how your daughter deals with when your family visits, or if you have visitors, coming in town. Is that something that she's excited about? Does she get disrupted because it upsets her routine? Is there, anything that you've noticed when you have family or friends coming into town?
Well, she definitely gets excited. I mean, she's definitely wanted to be like the more the merrier. She's always down for people coming over. It doesn't matter who it is. And I will say that when family comes over, she just has this big ball of energy and she is going for hours the whole time they are here. So, and as a parent, it's when you have someone come over to your house and you're hosting your guest, it's definitely takes a whole nother level of energy to just be attentive to your guests and make sure they're well taken care of, they have what they need, and almost like making sure that everybody feels good in your home. So when guests or family come over, it's draining for myself. I love having family and friends come over the house all the time. I love it, but it's not until they leave it's like, oh man, finally I can just it's quiet, I can breathe, and the kids are not screaming and playing and running all over the place, and this is like for a second you could just just stop. And then you gotta clean the house and wash the dishes and put stuff away and kind of get the house back in
Right.
order again. So it's definitely draining to have um family or friends over the house, but it's also nice. I mean, I love having family over all the time. And I know what the consequences are after they're gone and everything you got to do afterwards. But I mean, speaking with my daughter, like I mean, about my daughter having family over, she loves it. She loves it, and if we can fit 50 people in the house, she would just be all for it.
She sounds definitely. She sounds like an extrovert. Is that uh, something that you would describe yourself as, or?
I do love talking to people. I love having conversations. In my group of friends growing up, I was always the one they sent to like, hey, let's go play football with those guys over there. They're playing football too. Let's play a game. And they'll be like, let's send Floor over there, go ask them if they want to play. So I was always that person to like, which is crazy. And that was like maybe in my late high school years, even after that. But like in elementary and middle school, I was always shy. Like I wasn't really open like that. So at some point in my life, I just became very just open and just loved to talk to people. I don't know. It's crazy because I wasn't always like this.
Yeah, I'm very extroverted. My wife is not, so it's tough to have family over, even if it's her family, my family. My kids, my son is interesting because he's very extroverted, but at the same time, he's introverted. If that makes any sense, because he needs his time to relax and kind of calm down, but then at the same time desperately wants to play with other kids and is so excited when my family comes, my wife's family comes. um I feel like my daughter doesn't get as disrupted by it, but I feel like my son definitely does, and he kind of like you said, after everyone leaves, he kind of has that sigh of relief, being like, oh, finally I can, I don't have to worry about anybody else. And like he's not really,
Yeah.
he's turning 7. Like he doesn't have a lot of worries about hosting, but he puts that upon himself, I think. So
So initially he gets excited when people are coming over, but is there
yeah,
like almost like a cutoff where he's like, okay, I can only take so much?
yeah, at some point he has to kind of go away, and
Hmm.
whether it's like watching a show by himself or just going to play by himself in his room, he
Hmm.
needs that kind of me time to recharge, where I'm
Okay.
I'm the other way, where I get recharged by hanging out with people.
Yeah.
uh so I could hang, I don't need nearly as much me time as as other people do. So it's challenging for him, but at the same time he's excited.
You
So
know,
it's
I
fun,
I
but
I can kind of say I'm guilty of doing what your son does. There's been times where the house is packed with family, and sometimes there's windows where everybody's kind of talking amongst themselves, and there's just conversations happen all over the place. The kids are playing and screaming, and I just kind of sneakily like go upstairs into the room and just close the door for a second just to like decompress. And it's like, okay, let's go
yeah,
back there and be a great host. And I just come back
yeah,
down. So I think I feel what your son is going through.
yeah, it's tough for some people, but
Yeah.
we love our family, we love our
Yep.
friends, we love them visiting, but
Of course.
unfortunately we are right next to everything that everyone visits. Oh, I'm going to Disney, can I come and visit? Like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Well, we have to change gears, we have a couple events in March here, and then one coming up in April. The first event that we have is it's a dads and me uh sports day at Blue Jacket Park. We set this up. This is on Sunday, March 23rd, at 10 a.m. This was brought on by another member who kind of actively goes there on the weekend, and we thought it was a great idea to include dads and kids to be able to go to this park. And we're gonna bring, soccer balls and footballs and all sorts of equipment to be able to play these, different sports, whatever people want to play who shows up. So I think it'll be a lot of fun, not only for the dads but especially for the kids.
Oh yeah, and what's interesting too is the dad who kind of brought this up is a new dad in the group himself. And I think when he shared that with us, it was only his second event during the virtual meetup. And this particular park is has a massive field, so there's definitely plenty of space to, I mean, just bring all the type of sports that you like to play and just go out there and have fun, and we'll be all doing it together.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. The next event we have is our monthly virtual meetup, which we have now kind of added in. It's we've called it kind of the Florida City Dads meetup. We've added in the Miami and the Tampa City Dads. So Ozzy and Nick from Miami and Tampa, we've kind of included them. So it's a statewide virtual meetup. But it's what we had talked about earlier. It's kind of where we started recording and talking about these anonymous questions, and it's, we mentioned it before. It's a great place for people to come to these virtual meetups if they can't come out to these events, but then also if they're more comfortable talking about these sensitive subjects to them virtually opposed to, in person. So that is on Wednesday, March 26th at 8 p.m. Again, it's our Florida City Dads virtual meetup. The last one that we have is a Dads and Me Home Depot Kids Workshop. Home Depot, I think, does this every, what is it, the first Saturday of every month?
Yeah, first Saturday of every
They
month.
do, yeah, they do a workshop for kids where they can make some sort of craft. This is going to be in Eastern Orlando on, I think it's East Colonial, correct?
Yes, East
Yep.
Colonial, just near Semron, I believe.
So this is at one of the Home Depot stores, the one on East Colonial. It starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday, April 5th. And every first Saturday, they do some sort of arts and crafts. This month, they're going to be creating a globe planter. Um, as we know, it's spring. I mean, it's been spring for what, a month. It's like a month for us, but in April, it's in full bloom at that point. So there'd be a perfect event to bring the dads and the kids out to be able to do a craft, and uh, I'm sure they'll have other things to do for the kids as well. So I've never been to one of these events. Have you been to one?
No, I haven't been to one, but I actually went to a Home Depot coincidentally on a first Saturday of the month, and I kind of saw it happening, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what's going on over there?" And it looked pretty cool. There was a lot of kids like engaged and like kind of being crafty and making something. Um, and I feel like, especially in today's day and age, it's kind of nice to get the kids back into that. We're so
Yeah.
into devices, and they have all this technology that they use these days. Um, that some of this craft stuff is not practiced enough. So I think it's kind of a fun opportunity to get in there and make some stuff. So it's really cool. I definitely suggest, and this is just based off other dads who have actually went to it. Um, Making sure that you sign up for it as soon as possible, just to make sure you have your spot reserved. And just and Nick, I think you brought this up to me a while back, and is a good point. Make sure you select the correct Home Depot, because we would like to see you there. Um, we would
Well,
like
and
for
I'm
you
glad you
to
brought that
attend.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because on the meetup, website that we have, it has a link to the event. And if the thing that I found is if you don't have your default store set as East Colonial,
Mhm.
it is it'll just default to the store that you've chosen. So you want to make sure that you're choosing the East Colonial Home Depot, and you want to make sure that you're signing up on the Home Depot website as well as Meetup. Don't just sign up on Meetup, because the Home Depot website is where they're going to be doing the head count, and it does run out sometimes. So you want to make sure, like Flora said, to sign up as soon as possible. Because I guess these events get extremely popular.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you for tuning in to the Orlando Dads Group podcast. Join us next time for a roundtable discussion on co-parenting and its impact on fellow dads. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow Orlando Dads Group, all one word, on Facebook and Instagram. Find us on X at Orlando Dads, and join our new WhatsApp community under 2 words Orlando Dads. Check out our upcoming events for March and April. We love welcoming new members and would love to meet you. Join our WhatsApp community to sign up for meetups and be part of ongoing discussions with fellow dads.